Hey, I'm Mario.
And I'm Peter.
And this is...
Guys That Listen. Woo! We got a special guest, Linda from the Six here joining us today.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Linda, tell us about yourself. What do you do? And, why are you here?
I am a e-commerce business coach, and I'm here to hang out with you guys.
Oh, nice.
okay.
So you say you're a business coach, right? Like, how did you end up doing that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I climbed the corporate ladder and became like director of e-commerce for a pretty big company. And
Nice.
once I got there, I was really proud of myself, I must say.
Hey,
But
I'm
it
proud of
didn't.
you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. But it wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Oh.
You know when you like have a goal in your mind and you're like, once I get there, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be happy, feel really successful. That was not the case.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
that a
And
lot.
right. Sometimes you don't realize you don't want that until you get there, you know? So then I started my own business, which if there's anyone out there who wants to start their own business, all I gotta say is just start, just do it sooner than later, because my
Some good advice.
regret is that I should have started in my 20s because things take time to build. So I started my business and I'm never going to look back.
It's hard.
I know
I
you have a problem working for
I
other
feel
people.
like you climbing up the corporate ladder to get to that position and then you starting your business really, really says a lot about like, you know, the kind of structure you have to kind of deal with nowadays, you know, and like all my friends who've like reached that goal would tell me like, yeah, like I got here, I got this position, I became director of like finance, I became VP, and they're like, I am so unhappy. This was the worst idea ever.
It's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of hard work for sure. But I'm a person that enjoys the independence and the flexibility. And I like to stand behind my opinion. And doing that in a corporate setting doesn't make a lot of people happy. And that's all I got to say.
That's
Oh,
true.
no, go off.
Yeah. Hey, you don't work for them anymore, so it's go ahead.
That's true too. But, you know, I still want to be respectful. But to me, a really big thing too is like serving other people.
Okay.
And when you're working in a corporate setting or at a job that you just don't feel fulfilled in, it's to me, it's because you're not, you know, living in your purpose and serving the people that you want to be serving. And to me, it was really females. So a lot of my clients are female entrepreneurs and helping them carve out a space for themselves, you know, really bring them the seat at the table because they deserve it too. And there's so many businesses, corporations that don't really highlight us, especially like females, even like minority females. It's just like there's so many layers to it, and we deserve to have a voice in those settings too.
And speaking about female voices, though, you have your own podcast, right?
Yeah, I do.
What's it called?
Get shit done.
Get Shit
Oh.
Done. Okay, straight to the point. So what was it about? Can you explain to us?
Yeah, it started off actually as a productivity kind of podcast because I really want to help people add structure to their life and their business, especially coming from a corporate setting. But it actually evolved, and it's not like that anymore. I really want to share tips, but I started interviewing other entrepreneurs. And that ended up being even more fruitful because everybody has their own story.
Yeah.
And you can learn so much from their trials, you know what I mean? Like starting their own business and the same way that I'm explaining my business to you right now, like they have their own story, and I like love hearing it and get super curious
that
about
so
it. So yeah, I love it so much.
Yeah, that's very empowering.
Did you get the name from GTD, like Get Things Done?
What's that?
It's like an efficiency acronym thing. That's one of the like, so there's like self-help and productivity books, and I forgot his name, but he's like famous in the space.
Oh,
and his thing
okay.
is called GTD, like Get Things Done.
Oh shit.
Yeah. That's where I assumed was like, oh, you know, it's a productivity and everything. It must have.
Yeah. I wanted something controversial.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted shit in it, because when like the ladies swear, they're like, oh my gosh, you're like being so inappropriate, you're not a lady. So I was like, no, I'm gonna get shit done. One of my friends actually got me a welcome mat that says get shit done on it too.
Is that gonna be part of the merch store?
That would be super cool.
That'd be pretty cool. So for you guys who don't know, she's very like boss lady right now, but prior to that, she was already doing stuff like running her own nightlife events out in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Was this why you were doing the corporate job or before or?
Yeah, this is while I was working 9 to 5. So in the past, I think 10 years, I've been working 9 to 5. I worked in the fashion industry most of the time, and specifically menswear. Actually, that was my favorite thing. It was really interesting to challenge myself and put myself in another demographics mind, because I can sell to women, or at least I understand women really easily. So understanding men was very interesting because men shop very differently.
Well, I might need some help later, so we'll talk about it after the show.
Oh, I'm always happy to help. So I always work 9 to 5. So yeah, even when we're doing the events in Toronto, I was working 9 to 5. But throwing events is always so much fun. You know, it's really where you can be super creative, and your main job is to make it fun.
Yeah.
You know, an attraction to people, and that's what we did. And I threw them with my cousin Annie. She was just here.
Oh,
Shouts to Annie.
And
Shout out to Annie.
the best parts were we always got costumes. So we get to do, like, we got like, oh, we had a Homer Simpson costume that we
That's
would
pretty cool.
put our photographer in, and then we'd make him go out, and like when we had the bottle shows and everything, he would come out. It was someone's birthday, we would get him to bring out the cake. We had a few costumes actually, it was so much fun. And then there's one Halloween where we just started like throwing out bags of chips. I was just kind of throwing them at people. Yeah, it was so much fun.
That's a big shift, though. You're doing like nightlife things to like now doing like your own entrepreneurial like work stuff. Like, how did you shift your mindset to do that from 9 to 5 nightlife to 24/7 entrepreneur?
I think people just evolve in general, and doing events is more specific. And as I got older, it just became more broad to help people with their businesses. I think I can talk about businesses all day. Like, there's just so many things, and everything's so different. The strategy is different. Marketing is the best part, which is probably where the events came in, because it's a big part of marketing. And marketing to me is the most exciting part about a business. Because the foundation is important too. Never forget about the foundation, but how you market yourself and get your name out there, that's like the fun part.
It seems like what you're doing now, like you're fulfilled, like your purpose, like you feel happy with what you do, getting to help people. Do you think it was like you have your corporate job and it's sort of sucking your soul? So, so you're throwing these parties afterwards or on the side to fill some kind of like creative like need, or some other kind of like, you know, you're not, obviously you weren't being fulfilled in corporate, so you had this on the side. At least that's how I see it.
Yeah, at that time where I was working, it was a small business, and she's amazing. It's Got Style, owned by Melissa. She's amazing entrepreneur.
Shout out
and
Melissa.
Hey.
Yeah, she's at that time she was already celebrating 10 years of being in the menswear industry in Toronto, voted like best menswear store in Toronto.
Wow.
And she's also infamous for throwing really good parties. So
Really?
she really inspired me actually at that time. Yeah. And that was a big part of her marketing too. And the reason why throwing parties is so much fun is because you get to meet so many people.
Yeah.
And you get to have a really good time with them, and you almost bond with them instantly. Yeah. So I've had some really good times there. So I definitely did see it as a creative outlet, but I also saw it as meeting other people and trying to experiment to figure out what I love to do. Right? Like you said, the fulfillment part.
Were you always like that? Like you weren't scared to just start trying it?
I feel like you always have to. You have to explore. You have to try something new all the
Yeah.
time. I'm not trying to ask you to do something crazy or anything like that, but you know, when you're uncomfortable, that's when you learn
That's
about
how you
yourself.
Yep. That's how you grow.
So speaking about,
I'm uncomfortable right now.
are you?
No.
You look pretty comfortable with me. Aside from that, if we're talking about like that mentality shift from going from like doing 9 to 5 to like doing your own business, obviously you're kind of like taking a very hard road, right? That's not somewhere like a lot of females like end up. And that's why you have like this niche like market of like female entrepreneurs that you coach. But that's like a very boss thing to do. So do you feel like the way you date has changed? Because there has to be like a shift in the way you date with people now too. Because like I can imagine some guys would think that you're like intimidating now. You know what I mean?
It does change the way that I date. Guys had already found me intimidating before. Now, I don't know if it's necessarily intimidation, but it's a lot of compromise, a lot of balancing our schedules. My boyfriend now, shout out to Paul.
Hey,
He
shout out to
is
Paul.
a real estate agent in Toronto, and he is very busy. Like his schedule is random because his clients need him from like after they're done work, and then they go on showings on the weekend. And he actually was an inspiration for me to start my own business, because when we met, I had my 9 to 5, and it was a really rough time for me because I really didn't want to be there. Soul sucking, like you mentioned, literally. And so my goal was to match his lifestyle, because I've always wanted to do that. I always wanted to have that time freedom, but it just took me 10 years to get here.
Do you feel like that your type, you have a certain kind, like from what these are my own views that I see. Sometimes I see women who are very boss ladies, very, more type A, more, wear the pants, more ready to make the decisions on where we're eating for dinner.
I knew
Is this a common challenge? Because it seems like it's one that comes up a lot.
I don't know. I that's what I hear. That's what people tell me. So I see this type of personality usually dates a more type B, someone who's a little more, yeah, babe, we can do that, or like more go with the flow, or stay at home husband, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you have a type like that, or doesn't matter
I
for you?
prefer the opposite.
You
I
want
prefer
someone
someone
as
equally as strong and powerful as me.
equally
Yes.
strong, not
Yes.
more.
Man, you guys must have some crazy
Equal.
fights.
Equal.
That was good. How do
You say we have crazy fights?
Because I'm assuming you both
Yeah.
think you're right.
you clash, right?
We have strong opinions,
Yeah.
and we know that about each other already. So, our fights are not as intense as you think it would be. It's more diplomatic because we are both entrepreneurs. So, like negotiating and compromise, we understand that from a business point of view. So we bring that into the relationship. Like
got
I don't know
like
if
a
we do it on,
contact,
I don't know if we do that on purpose. I don't know if we do it by accident. But it's.
Oh, babe, if I do this, I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. I'll
Yep,
sign it.
exactly.
But I think it keeps things fair because
Yeah.
we understand, okay, like this is where we stand. We can tell each other how we feel, our opinions, and really communicate because that's so important in business already.
Yeah.
So we bring that into our relationship, and that way we can really get things, on the table, understand where we stand, and make sure that even though we're compromising, it's not too much one way or the other, right? Because that usually causes resentment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
True.
when you compromise too much. So it seems to work out for us really well.
That was awesome answer. I like that a lot.
I always appreciate the applause.
Oh, that was completely opposite of what I thought. I thought what you were gonna
That's
say,
exactly opposite what I thought. I haven't seen that instance of two very I guess successful and type A people work as much. That just hasn't been the narrative I've seen.
So how'd you guys meet?
We met at those parties.
Oh, at the party.
Yeah.
The one that you threw.
The
not
ones
just
that
like
we
a-
threw, yeah. He's
I
actually best friends with the DJ, the resident
Oh.
DJ that we had there. So I had
Okay.
met him then, but
At
I met a
Wallen,
lot of
right?
people at Wallen. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. RP to Wallen, but I met a lot of people then, and he's one of the people that I met. And then in the pandemic, we caught up, as like a lot of people do, and we reconnected, and we found out that we had a lot in common.
Oh, when you said 10 years, I thought you guys been dating for 10 years.
Oh no, we haven't been dating
Oh,
for
I
10
was-
years. We've known
oh.
each other maybe for 5-6 years,
Okay.
something like that. Yeah, I don't remember the first time we met, but it was sometime during the Wallen times.
And then you guys reconnected during COVID, and then you started your business. Seems like COVID.
There's so many
worked out
COVID
well.
love stories.
Yeah, there are, huh? Is it okay? Being honest, does it come out of boredom sometimes? Because I feel like a lot of my friends would just start hitting people up because they're like, I'm so bored. And they'll start talking, and then that develops into something because they just want someone to hang out with. And they're like, during COVID, it's like you want a dedicated person. You want to hang out with too many people because it's irresponsible. So that's why you always hang out with your significant other, right? That's the one exception.
I wouldn't necessarily say it came out of boredom.
Yeah, you shouldn't say that.
Not on the podcast.
It definitely didn't come out of boredom for sure.
Yeah.
It was really that whoever messaged me at that time, I wanted to check in to see how they were.
Oh.
Because there are some people who are more social. And so if they're reaching out, then I just wanted to make sure that they're doing okay. And why not keep up the conversation because everything's digital now, right?
Yeah.
So we started talking and eventually we met up and it just worked. He was extremely supportive, especially during the time, not only just in the pandemic, but how stressful my job was at that time. He was really supportive and he was there for me and just always was on my side.
I know it's a little different, right? Because you said he reached out or you reached out first?
He commented on one of my stories.
Okay, comment on your story. Okay,
That's
so
how-
this
and
is
that's how it works
Instagram. I'm
nowadays.
assuming. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
That's like
slid
the
in the DMs.
Yeah, you don't message them out in the air. You reply to their story. That's how you do
What
it.
was the line? What was the line?
I had a roommate at the time, and she has a Shiba Inu, Kiko,
Classic.
and
Same.
she was
Always the problem.
sunbathing,
Gotcha, right.
and I took a video of her, and then he commented on that story.
Mm-hmm.
Did
And
you
then
comment
we
on the
kinda
dog or was he
Yes,
comment-
on the dog.
That's
Yeah,
how you
yeah,
do
yeah.
it.
That's how you do
That's
it.
how you do it.
You do it
Are
indirectly.
you guys
Sun-
learning
the sun-
right now?
We
No,
are.
that's
I'm
what I
like-
do.
I'm learning. I'm taking notes. Bro, you gotta teach me this.
Wait, that's what you did, sir.
Wow. He
All right.
knows. He knows.
Go on. What was your line?
It was not.
He just said, "Lord."
Oh, that was during New York?
Yeah.
Jesus, no wonder why you were on phone so much. I was wondering about that.
This is like quintessential shoot your shot.
Yeah, shoot your shot. I guess that's what really changed. Not since COVID times, like it's very more common to like just DM or reply to the story.
I mean, I feel like it was happening before too, but
Yeah.
it really shows like you have you have two types of guys. Hey, that's a nice dog. Damn, baby girl.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's the damn
They both
baby girl.
With equal results.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and you have to have a dog to conversate about. That's the only way.
I mean, he is the dog, you know.
Damn, she got you good. Someone bring out the leash.
I got one in my car. I think that's really funny because I was having this conversation where it's like there's this like art to flirting, especially like on digital and stuff. Like girls will tell me like, yeah,
I'm taking notes.
this dude just straight up sent me a dick pic, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you should not do that.
Yeah.
Or like these dudes be calling or like DMing me be like, hey, beautiful, or like, wow, like you're so gorgeous, and I'm like, that's too much. You're gonna like scare somebody away. But it depends too. Like his, at least it's funny. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you're like loud. Like he's going straight in. He's letting you know his intentions. Like obviously, okay, baby, I find you attractive.
Yeah.
But I'm also funny, and I'm also letting you know, like, you know, there's a difference. You can't just be like, hey, beautiful. You know.
No,
I don't think that works for majority of women.
You know what? I feel like the people who send dick pics and say, hey, beautiful, like very direct right off the bat without really knowing the person, they're usually a little weird. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
when I hear about shit like that, and like, you know, because we have attractive friends and they're like, yeah, guys would just send me DMs all the time. And I'm like, dude, I would never do that. No, I'm not saying the DM part, but like a dick pic. Like, I've never ever thought that.
You've never sent a dick pic?
Not like that. Not like that.
You see that pause?
All right, not to a stranger. Not to a stranger. Not to a stranger. All right.
Is there a story here?
No, that's just like when you're in a relationship for a very long time. Like context, I've been in like almost 10-year relationship. You just kind of spice up once in a while. You know what I mean? And you're so comfortable with each other. It's not like a bad thing. And you know, to be fair, they requested it. It wasn't like
It's not unsolicited.
Yeah.
The
no.
unsolicited ones are the
I'm
worst
not-
ones because
yeah.
it's just like, whoa.
Yeah, I'm not like, babe, oh, check this picture out. And she's at dinner with her friends. And she's like, oh my God. No, that's not what happens. You know what I mean? She always knows. She asked first. I'm like, okay, you know, I'll oblige. But other than that, I wouldn't handle it that way.
So do you make it like artsy? Is it?
I mean,
like-
yeah, I take, so, you know, also context, like I do photography, so I know my angles.
That's
you
why
know what
I
mean?
asked.
I do know my angles, right? So I'm not like, it's at least tasteful, I would say.
Is it like you're doing it for yourself, or like, yeah, have you gotten Johnny to do it, or
No,
like,
I've never had someone else do that for me. All right, I don't want it to be that professional. I don't know. Sometimes you just want to keep it like amateur feeling a little bit. You know what I mean? You want to make it too pro. It's like, come on now. But I do agree. Like the guys who do that, typically you can already tell right off the bat, just distasteful. And I feel like obviously I don't think it's ever worked for them. But usually they just like spam it. You know, I think they spray and pray, and they hope that one girl's like, "Oh my God, you have a really nice dick."
funny thing? I actually did hear about this. Like at my barber, there's this dude who worked there, and he would just like unsolicitedly send dick pics to like all the girls on his like Instagram and stuff. And the guy was telling me about it. I was like, what? And, like, it worked like 1 out of 100.
I was always wondering
You know?
if it worked.
It did. It worked.
Is
with
it a numbers game?
Yeah, it
It
was
is
like
a
an
numbers game.
older lady, you know. But it worked. I mean, it worked. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it worked.
But then 100 people have a picture
Which
Yeah.
I'm like,
of his genitals
like, yeah, like
on their phone.
But some people just
weird.
don't care, though. You know what I mean? Some people don't care if someone else sees their junk.
Do they have to
Especially-
like really love it?
I do not know. I mean, I would assume so.
wait,
You know
love
I mean?
what?
Love their dick.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
oh.
you do it. You'd be like, yes, it's a good looking dick. Like I got.
Yeah, but I'm still not gonna send it to somebody. Like,
Well, you know, some people just like to flaunt what they have, and if they're
Right,
proud,
right.
feeling themselves, they're like, hey, you know, I kind of trimmed today. You know, looks like a good day. Took a couple photos. You never know. But I don't know. I'm not one of those
We're
guys.
just
I'm
trying to
not
get
one
into
of
the
those
minds of these people.
I'm curious. We should get one of those guys on the show. You should get that guy on the show. 100
Put out
dick
a,
pic
put out an
person.
ask on Instagram.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we should ask on Instagram. Who's there sent that?
You know, fun merchandising thing. Like we could do like an OnlyFans for you, and like
Oh yeah, I'll make. Oh yeah, I mean I've been struggling with money, so that'd be nice. But okay, so if that's the wrong approach, like what would you say is like the right approach, especially since you met your guy through DMs too?
Yeah, I mean, I think being curious, because like there's stuff on the feed, so you can already get to know the person a little bit and just be curious, ask them questions. People like to talk about themselves, to be perfectly honest, no matter who you are,
That's
what
true.
gender. So just being curious, listening.
yeah, I was gonna say we can't relate to that talking about yourself because like all we do is just listen.
All we do is listen, just guys that listen,
Well, let me backtrack. Has that happened to you? Has someone ever sent you an unsolicited?
Actually, never.
Oh wow,
Wow.
Yeah, people get surprised, but never.
Canadians
I
are
don't
just
know what it
nicer. That's why Canadians have more manners. That's why.
No.
I feel like if her location was like out here, then she would be
Oh.
getting like hella. But luckily, that's not
I
the
mean,
case.
our audience is down here. They're gonna see your Instagram.
Oh yeah, true.
No.
Let me just
please.
apologize ahead of time.
Yeah. Hopefully, you get a lot of like female like people checking into your stuff, not like the gross dirty
Like, oh
male.
wow,
guys.
you're a boss lady. What? Like.
Yeah, instead of the guy in the basement who's like sending
Oh
fucking
no.
dick pics.
Oh no.
Jesus
No,
Christ.
that's the worst. I feel like that's a problem, or that's what people are experiencing online dating.
Yeah.
It's really challenging because it kind of takes away that like initial spark of when you meet somebody, because when you're on the app, you already know that like they're looking for dates.
Ah.
Yeah, and so there's some really weird situations that happen online dating. Like there
Have you
was,
ever tried to online date?
I have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
unsuccessfully.
Do you have any crazy stories?
It's kind of inappropriate.
If you tell me yours, I'll tell you mine.
Do it.
Um.
Where's we could bleep it out.
Okay. Yeah, I'll tell you guys, and then you tell me if it's really inappropriate or not. Okay.
Okay.
So
There's
there's
literally nothing inappropriate.
Yeah,
There
we
was-
find nothing inappropriate.
Go as inappropriate as you want.
Okay. So so I met the guy and he seemed cool. So we went for bubble tea. That's a good like initial first date, bubble tea or coffee, so they can kind of see if they're crazy or not.
No, that's the thing. I
That's
do the
true.
coffee one.
You do a coffee one?
Yeah.
I've been on one coffee date. and
It's a quick and short, you know.
It was quick and short, and yeah, she
How
was.
did it go?
She was
How did it
showing.
go? It's good. Never mind.
But go on.
Yeah. So then it went well, and then we went out for dinner, and so we started talking, and it seemed okay. He took me to a Raptors game, so that was like really fun, and we went to the movies. Yeah, right. It was good.
All this on the
dates.
same day?
Not on the same day,
Oh, okay,
but like
okay,
just
okay.
throughout the like month or
Oh,
so
nice.
that we were hanging out, month or two. And when I told people like who he was, one guy in particular was like, "Oh, I kind of know something about him, but like you seem to kind of really get along with him or you like him, so like I won't tell you yet." And I was curious.
Oh.
Tell
At this
you
point, we
yet?
should have somebody guess what it is right
I
now.
feel like I could guess.
I think I can guess what it
feel
is.
like I might be able to
Guys,
I
guess.
don't know.
Can we get
Okay, this is my crazy story, but it's also a really bad story.
Okay.
So, we kept hanging out and everything like that, and I started to have a rule to not sleep with anybody until they were my significant other.
Okay.
I was just tired of being disrespected and not valued for like my body, so that was something that I started doing, and so I didn't sleep with him. So then my friend, because he kept seeing me hang out with him, he's like, "Okay, I think I need to tell you this." And we're having dim sum and we're eating, and he was like, so he had dated this girl for like 10 years
Oh,
or
wow.
so from like a pretty young age, I think, and she had a younger sister. Has a younger sister, and apparently he had molested her.
Oh
Oh,
my god,
that's bad.
Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
that's really bad.
I thought he was gonna be the Tinder swindler.
I thought he was gonna be a furry. Completely opposite what I thought. Completely opposite what I thought.
We didn't expect criminal.
Yeah,
I know. I didn't
expect
either when he
felon.
told me that. I know. That's why I'm like, I don't know if you guys want this on there,
No,
but like,
no,
that's what
that's fine.
happened.
That's fine.
That's the uncomfortable conversation that
Yeah.
we want to have because
It
holy
is.
fuck, what'd you do after that? I
Up
mean, you
on
find
Megan's
that,
Law.
That's so crazy because now I'm hearing that your friend held it back from you.
Yeah, it was really
Such a-
strange.
that's a very
Yeah.
strange thing.
He
I
held
should have
off
told
for
you
a bit.
right away.
I
You're
know.
like, what?
'Cause-
that is a.
Because he didn't tell me right away, I didn't think it was gonna be that bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like maybe it was gonna be some dirt about how he mistreated his ex-girlfriend or something
Yeah.
like that. But he waited, and then he's like, "Okay, I need to tell you now." And I'm like, "Okay," and I did not expect that.
So
Like
what
whatever
happened?
you thought being a furry was like 10 times better
Oh
than
yeah,
like
for sure.
this because it was so bad.
Yeah.
So it was really awkward. I tried ghosting him, and then his dog died. It was really weird. Yeah,
It's always the dog.
It's always a dog. So it was really weird. But I just stopped talking to him.
Wait, hold up. Did you confirm this with his ex?
No, I didn't ask anybody else.
Did you ask him?
No, I didn't. I felt like it was really uncomfortable for me at that time to ask him.
That is very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your friend is obviously a trustworthy person.
I felt like it was something so serious
That you
wouldn't really lie about it. Because I didn't want to question it, right? Because if somebody said that happened to them, especially like in this day and age when women say they were raped and
was
people
your friend
don't
the
believe
one?
them.
His sister or her sister?
No.
Oh, okay,
no.
okay.
Yeah. It was a friend that just knew them for a while.
Like I'm all for that, but I feel like you have to have a confrontation because what if the other person's wrong? Like what if it was hearsay? You know, if you
It's
never saw
true.
any flags or anything like that, like for me it would be like, let's say it's like you're dating someone and you like them and it's like someone tells you something about them, like, yo, I need to confirm, like find out with this person, like, because what if it's like a lie?
It's true.
And
I
then
mean,
their
you can
dog
give them the
died?
benefit of the. I know you can give them the benefit of the doubt, but I think to me it's such a serious issue.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was definitely not ready to confront somebody and ask
Yeah.
them something like that and have a conversation.
It wasn't that serious yet, right?
No, it wasn't. No, it was like the month. So it's
Okay.
either I believe this person that I knew for a while or
Yeah.
like a stranger.
But he took you to a Raptors game?
That doesn't make up for what happened.
It definitely does not.
Where were the seats?
This is like the Tinder swindler. Like he took you on a private jet.
That is like
That's really where I thought this was going.
Well, how long would you say that you'd have to be in like something serious? So let's say you hear that about someone, you know, like let's say a year or 2 years down the line, you're actually in a relationship, like in a good spot, maybe moved in together. Is that now kind of like the time that you'd actually speak to them about it?
Yes,
Okay.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say because I'm not in the situation,
Yeah.
but I think at this point in my life, I would want to because
Okay.
you're a lot more invested
Yeah.
in this person, and then you spent time with them and you have history, so you would want to know. But I haven't had a conversation with somebody who's done that, so it's like, what is
Yeah.
your state of mind, and how can you really make it feel like it was okay?
Yeah.
How do you justify that?
Yeah.
So that's where my mind goes to.
Wait, how old was the
I don't know how old he was, but she was young. The sister is a lot younger.
like we're talking like teenager or child?
Oh shit.
Somewhere in between.
Oh fuck. I did
Yeah.
not expect that. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
so that scared me.
that scared
That
me.
scared me too.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
I know, you thought he was a furry.
Yeah, I thought it was a furry. I thought it was something cute and cuddly, you know, like a furry, but Jesus
I wish that
Christ.
probably would have been easier to deal with.
Yeah.
So my online story happened to me years ago. Well, this is when like Tinder had first come out. You know, everyone had like shitty photos and like you couldn't really see what someone looks like. You still had all the angles from MySpace, kind of.
Oh.
And I met this girl, and she invited me over to come hang out. And I told her, okay, like, you know, come, we can like hang out but I gotta go. I had a birthday party to go to later or something, you know. And I come to the door, and she's like, I like told her I'm here. She's like, I'm not ready yet. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm just waiting outside and stuff. This is a little weird. Waited for like 10 minutes for her like to get ready. We're not going anywhere. We're just hanging out at home, just waiting. And she opens the door, and I look at her, like I look into her eyes. And have you ever seen How I Met Your Mother?
Yes.
Do you remember the episode with the crazy eyes? I kid you not. I swear to you, it was those same exact eyes. I looked into her baby blues and I knew this bitch is crazy. Like, I knew. Like, I've never experienced it since then, and I've never experienced it before. But I saw, like, in those eyes, I'm like, there's something's not right here, you know? But I was young and horny, so I'm like, okay, obviously I'll stay. Okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean, anyways.
So first thing she shows me, like we come in, we're talking about hobbies and stuff, and she's like, oh yeah, let me show you what I collect. And in her front like yard thing, she has like these like glass like trays of like bugs that she catches. And I was like, this is really weird. Like some of them were nice because it's butterflies, but there's like beetles and like other moths.
She
and-
caught them herself.
Yeah. She told me, she was like, she asked me like, oh, did you ever play Pokemon? You know those bug trainers? Yeah, that's me. Like,
Oh, wow.
and I was like, what a weird like reference to make. Like, and then she showed me the bugs. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. You really do. She had like a net. She has a net that she would catch them with. So yeah, that's the first thing, right? I'm like, and it just validated more. I'm like, okay, there's something wrong here.
Did she keep them in like boxes?
No, it was like like it's like the frame is wood, but the rest is like glass. So they're
So
like,
they're not alive.
I hope not. But so we come back in and like we're on the couch, we're talking, and her mom's there. Her mom's leaving, and she comes out and she's like, kind of like dressed up and everything. She's like, "Oh, you two have fun. I got a Tinder date too." And I was like,
Whoa.
"What?" I'm just a little weird, Like
Yeah.
I've never experienced that with anyone's parent that I've made, so I'm like, okay, whatever, So she leaves. We stay in. We're like talking. She's like, "Oh, you want to go to the bedroom?" Okay, we go to the bedroom, and we're on the bed. And I'm young, 22, 23, whatever, and we're like kissing and stuff, and it's getting like hot and heavy. And before she stops, like before we go any further, because like it was getting to that point. There's that little precipice where like like something's gonna happen, and so she stops and she's like, "Hey, like before we go any further, like I need to show you something." And she reaches under the bed, and she pulls out the biggest fucking sketchbook I've ever seen.
Oh, I was expecting something totally different. I was like, Mario's about to get pegged. I fucking know. I was thinking the exact same thing.
So the sketchbook, right? And because she starts showing me like she's an artist and she loves to draw and everything, and it's these pictures. Starts off with like animals, and then the animals become anthropomorphic animals, and so it's like people animals, like anthropomorphic fucking animals. And she's like, "Hey, like I actually work as an artist for the cons that happen here in Anaheim. It's Furry Con." She makes art for the furries, and she like draws them and sells pictures of her, and it's a whole persona. Like there's two different personas she has, and each one has like all its sketches and artwork, and she's like, "Do you want to fuck me in my costume?"
Jesus.
What
And what'd you
animal
do?
was
So we had that tail. No. I was like, no. No.
What animal did she dress up as?
It was a fox. It was a purple
Oh.
fox.
said no.
There was two animals. I don't remember what the second one was, but the main one she had was like this purple fox that she was like in character or whatever. I was like, no, I'm actually not really into that. I was like, okay. And like from there just got kind of weird, and like there was like a weird tension that was not sexual by any means, and it was just really awkward. And I was like, oh well, I'd always say like I have something to do later in case it's weird. So I'm like, you know what, I kind of gotta go now, whatever. And then she let me borrow some comic books, and I never returned them.
Jesus Christ.
So when you said furry, I was like, oh
Yeah.
well,
Well, you got one of those stories for sure. That was quite a plot twist. I was like, I didn't know where I was going. Yeah, it did. It really did. Who would have known? That's online dating, huh? How crazy. I
you play a little game. Guess her ethnicity.
Yeah. I feel like she has to be white.
You said her eyes are blue.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
So
I always said the bug catching would have gave it away. Like,
yeah.
my first 3 Tinder dates were all with crazy girls.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you get better at filtering out like later or something, or?
Kind of.
Because I feel like
Yeah.
if my first 3 dates on Tinder were like crazy, I'd probably stop online dating or dating in general at that point. Really.
Just dating
Yeah.
in general.
I'm done.
I find that the issue with online dating it's not an issue, but what I find is that yes, the people get around. So like there's always a chance that if you went on a date with one of them, you might see that they go on a date with somebody else that you know.
Oh.
Which has happened to me before too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And there was okay, this is I guess a kind of funny story for myself, but there was this one guy he's really nice, and I just spend a lot of time with them. I love to get to know them, talk to them, and get curious. And so there's this one guy, and this is the first time I've ever done this, where he leaned in for a kiss, like when he's dropping me off in the car, and I just like.
Oh, you curved him?
And it was really awkward. It was really, really awkward. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like, "No, it's okay." And I just like try to get like, I'm like, "I gotta go now," and I just like.
And the door won't unlock. You're like, oh god.
What happened the second date?
Was there a second day after that?
I don't think so.
So why'd you curve him?
I just didn't like him.
Oh,
like
you
that.
just don't like him? Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't like him like that.
Oh,
like I just
okay.
maybe didn't spend enough time with him yet, and I didn't really
Yeah,
develop
maybe too
feelings.
soon.
But like, yeah, because when you go on dates, like I don't know about you guys, but like when I talk to them online, like I try to spend a lot of time asking them questions, getting to know them. But you really have to see them in person, and then get their personality in person too. So I like to take that time to date them.
I feel like with online dating, there's a lot of personality fishing.
Personality fishing.
Like they're so good at portraying themselves online, and then you see them like in real life, and they're nothing like that.
Oh.
You
Some
know what I
people
mean?
are good writers.
Yeah, some people are good writers. Some people just have like certain things they put in place that they say to everyone. You know?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the system. You know what I mean? Like I'm very adventurous. Like I remember. Okay, so I've never online dated, but I have had Tinder once. Just to prove a point. I didn't really use it for any other reason. I swear to God.
Wait, but I thought you had a grinder once too.
Oh yeah, I did have grandmas. That's a totally another story, but that's actually a really good story.
Did you catfish someone?
I did.
Peter.
Okay, fine. I guess I have to tell the freaking story because at this point it just sounds
Tell the Tinder one first.
it just
Tinder one.
sounds really bad at this point. Okay, the Tinder one is super short. I had just gotten out of a 10-year relationship, and my friend was like, "You're not over your ex?" And I was like, "I am." And he was like, "Well, download Tinder." And I was like, "All right, I'll do it." Download it. I think like I swiped on like 3 or 4 people, and then one of the girls responded, and my friend was like, "Oh, tell the polar bear joke."
Wait, what's the polar bear joke?
It's like
How much does a polar bear weigh?
Enough to break the ice.
yeah,
you
enough
go.
to break the ice. That was the joke. Yeah, and she was like, "Oh, if I hear that joke one more time, I'll kill myself." I'm like, "All right, I'm off this app. Like, I don't want to deal with this anymore."
Oh, so you didn't even meet up with them.
No, I told you I've never.
That was
online
it?
dated.
Oh my
was-
gosh.
I literally did.
You had a conversation, barely had a conversation,
Yeah,
and you
barely
quit.
had a conversation. Like literally.
That wasn't even a conversation.
No, it wasn't. It was super short. I was just like, "Nah, I don't think this is for me." But I think also I was
First girl I
like,
try to talk to wants to kill herself.
yeah. I see. I told you right when I said I was gonna quit. I really did. You know, but the grinder one. Yeah, that one sounds terrible. I was in Europe with my friends. We were there for a bachelor party, and one of our friends, he's gay. His name's Hector. I don't know. Have you met Hector?
I'm not sure.
Oh, probably not then if you don't remember him because he's
If I have, I'm sorry.
He's a very memorable
no,
man.
yeah, he's memorable. He stands out. But so he's like, "Oh, guys, we should like see who could get the most numbers while we're out here, and then we'll like whoever wins, their drinks get paid for the entire trip." I was like, "That's really good deal." But I was like, "I'm not gonna play though." So like a bunch of the guys made Grindr accounts and like started hitting up other guys, but they would actually use their own like pictures and stuff. And then because I knew, so I'm not sure if you know how Grindr works, but Grindr it tells your location
Yes.
to these people. Yeah. So I'm like Tinder, like it'll be like, "Oh, a gay is right there." You know what I mean? So then, yeah, dude, I've seen it where it's like Hector will get a message from the guy across the bar, and he'll know it's like that guy.
Oh, what?
Yeah, you'll know right away.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Like, but anyways, going back to that, the guys were playing the game, and I was like, that's kind of fucked up that they're like doing that, because they're just hanging up all these gay dudes, and they're not even gay. They're just trying to get numbers, right? Because that's part of the game. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna fuck with them. So I made a fake account. I went under this alias Nordberg, right? Just because I was in Europe, I was like, I don't know any European names. Nordberg sounds European. And it was like a totally different picture too, like a really buff dude. Obviously, I'm not buff, so yeah. I made that picture, and since I knew they were hitting up all these dudes, I hit them up all individually. And I'd be like, "Hey, I think you're really attractive," and I would give them my number. It was a fake number, and I'm not even really one of those guys. And then we went to this place called Vondel Park. It's like a park where everyone goes to hang out and do drugs and whatnot, in like Amsterdam. And then I messaged all of them, and then I knew that they were going to talk to each other about me. So they went to each other and they're like, "Hey, are you getting a message by this guy named Nordberg? He's coming on very strong." He's like, "Dude, he messaged me too." And they'd be like, "Yeah, he messaged me too." And it's all me, the entire time. I'm seeing all their reactions. So I'm like fucking with them, right? So after a while, I'm like, "Oh my God." I start messaging Hector, and I'm like, "Oh my God, are you guys talking about me? I'm very shy. Like, please, like now I feel like so ashamed. I don't even want to talk to you guys anymore." So the Hector's standing right next to me. He's like, "Oh my God." He says he sees us. And then he looks on the location. I'm like in the park. So he's like, "Is that him behind the tree? Is that him over there behind the trash can?" And it was just like me right next to him the entire time. He had no idea. So they keep talking like, "Oh my God, we should invite him over. This is so mean. Like, okay, maybe we should tell him that it was just a game, blah, blah." And then the entire time it was me. So then I told my brother, like, "Hey, read the convos out loud." You know, so he'd read the combos and like the raunchy shit that I was saying to these guys. And then and they had no idea that it was me until like I think like one specific thing was being said where it was like so raunchy that only that conversation had to be read to know that was me. So they all turn around, they're like, how the fuck are you reading our conversation? And then my brother shows like my phone and you can see that it's like me texting everyone. They're like, what the fuck? You were Nordberg the entire time? So I was like, hey, to be fair, I got the most numbers because I got all those guys' numbers, you know? So my drink should be paid for it. But yeah, it was a crazy catfish story. That's the only time I ever catfished someone though.
I like that you guys went straight for guys and you guys weren't trying to get girls.
No, because
it's harder.
No, I don't. Well, I mean, I think it definitely is harder, but I've never done it, so I don't know. You know, I would assume it's harder because, like, guys are really thirsty. Gay guys are even more thirsty. Like, that's the way I see it. You know,
it's the testosterone.
I think so. And they're just like more open to things. I remember one time I was at a bachelor party in like New Orleans, and we were thirsty, so we ordered water. Like we Uber Eats it, and then Hector was there, same guy. And then the guy drops off. Yeah, the guy drops off the water for us, right? And then he leaves, and like 5 minutes later, Hector gets a picture of like the guy spreading his ass cheeks, like the Uber driver.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like 5 minutes later, and then he was like, "Oh my god, our Uber Eats driver is gay." And I was like, "How do you know?" He's like, "He showed me." I was like, "Fuck!" I was like, "You could have just told me. I don't really need to see that, dude. Come on now."
Wait, so like he took it himself?
Yeah, he like spread his ass. He probably had it on a selfie stick somewhere, and then he just like sent it, just like a butthole picture. And you thought dick pics were bad? Imagine seeing just like an anus.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, anus pics, dude. Yeah, it takes a lot of skill. You gotta be like.
You could have asked someone to help him.
Yeah,
Legit.
you could have done that too. Yeah, I think it's definitely easier to get gay dudes than straight women. I have no experience flirting online, or at least like to a stranger. You know, of course I've like flirted with my girlfriends online and stuff like that. But you know, you send them like the winky face. Like,
does it count as flirting once she's your girlfriend already?
I think flirting is flirting no matter what. Yeah, I think it's no matter what, it's flirting. Like even if it is flirting with like a animated. Like animation is still flirting, you know what I mean? Like
animation, like an emoji.
Yeah, like an emoji, like you know how some people would like talk to bots or something like that, or like online date, but it's like really just like video game characters and whatnot. Like you whatever you say, it's.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Like it's
like
still,
if you're in a video game and you're like talking to them,
or like you know, there was this whole documentary on like guys who had like these dolls that were like robotic or robots, and they would like flirt with them and take them out.
I think someone in Japan might be married to a sex doll.
Oh yeah. That's like that one movie. Was it that one movie with Joaquin Phoenix?
Oh yes.
Is it you or
me?
Me or
I?
Her.
What's your name?
Me.
Yes, you.
I am me. He's me. And I'm you.
And I'm about to whoop your old ass, man.
It was they.
Them they. But yeah, like that. You know,
her.
he was
Yeah.
like AI. You know.
Yeah,
so.
he was dating the operating system. Yeah.
And then he finds out she was dating all those other guys too.
Yeah.
See, moral of the story.
Hoes be hoes. Doesn't matter.
Is that what you guys got from the movie? Wow.
That's the point of the movie, right?
I would question whether it's the fact that one, humankind can get very lonely, and that they're not vulnerable to tell another human that they want some sort of affection. They can only tell it to a robot or like something that will return it back, and you know it, right? Because it's operating system, and he just liked how she was like serving him.
But she was also serving like 7 other dudes.
Well, yeah, but that was literally her purpose.
I feel like that's the case now, though, right? It's definitely more of a numbers game now, for sure. Like before, like to date, I feel like you would have to like approach people or meet people outside or have a hobby that's similar, which is kind of nice because you kind of already know you have something in common, right? But now it's kind of like very looks based, or at least for guys, I feel like that's what they go off of, right? Oh my God, their Instagram looks kind of, you know, like they look nice on it. Let me send them a DM or shoot a shot, you know? But I definitely feel like they could just do that to a bunch of people at the same time. Like you DM like 50 people and hopefully get a response from 1 or 2. Yeah. Versus back then, it's like you're gonna go out to like different places and talk to like different people. It was way more difficult, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that with technology in general, everything's opened up. So
Yeah.
this can be dating, this could be business,
Yeah.
everything like that. It's crazy that like we can stay in contact even though like I live on the other side of the
True,
country.
true.
You know what I
Dude, yeah.
mean? You couldn't do that before. It would cost you. You remember those long distance phone cards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
long
dude.
time ago.
And you had to call it and they give you the code or
You have to
whatever.
activate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we'd call our family in like other countries. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And now it doesn't cost anything. Like
Yeah.
we can use FaceTime, WhatsApp,
Skype.
Yeah.
Instagram. We can video chat on Instagram.
That's true.
Yeah.
Saying each
So
other's
it's just
stories and
opened up
stuff.
a whole bunch of like possibilities, and
Yeah.
people can date internationally if they're willing to do long distance.
Yep.
And you can, I always make this joke, you can import in your partner because you can go to a country somewhere else, find something that you guys have in common, and then bring them back to your country.
Yeah.
Oh, like the mail order Vietnamese breads.
Or 90 Day Fiance. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I have
we
not
literally
seen
just
it, but
talked
we were
about
just
that right
talking
now.
about it.
Oh, really?
The guy with the neck.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's famous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
make a lot of memes out of him.
I do hear a lot of people talk about 90 different. I haven't seen it personally, but I hear a lot about it.
The American green card is very wanted.
I know.
I can't do that. Like,
You can't do what?
I could not like import.
get married?
I mean, I won't even date someone in LA. I'm like, that's too far.
But I mean, usually when you import these people over, they stay with you though.
What if I don't like them?
You have to act like it for at least a
You
couple
have
of
to
years.
act like it.
At least a couple of years. No, like I've legit considered it because like 50 grand is a lot of money. Like, goddamn.
I mean, that's like that's a whole like.
Yeah, that's
scenario.
not for like
what-
a love type of thing, right? That's like a transaction.
Yeah.
Transaction based, right? But I feel like what Mario's saying is also kind of a little bit half and half, right? Because if he doesn't like them, like he's probably not gonna get married to them unless it's money involved, right?
I got offered 20K. I was like, that's
You offered
disrespectful.
20K?
That's
Jesus
disrespectful.
Christ,
Come
that's
on.
disrespectful. Your body's worth at least 25. Yeah, but that's crazy because like people do that, and yeah, as an American, like that is very common. Now I've heard about that since I was like a little kid. You know, parents have always tried to set me up, and it's weird because like, so like my own personal take is like I don't really care to get married. Right? It's not really like a thing. It's not like the marriage part what it represents. I just don't like the whole government part of it. You know, I don't
the
really.
government part?
Yeah, like I don't really care for them to like be in my business stuff. Like the ceremony of like, you know, celebrating your relationship and like commitment, or whatever is cool. I'm cool with that. The party's totally fine.
Yeah.
You know, those things are fine. But that side, I don't really care too much for. I feel like it's just there because it's been implemented for a long ass time, and that's just how they get their hands into everything. So, but you know, some people they need like the whole shebang. So
I mean, you've always been really honest about it. Like for years, he's like, I don't want to get married. Like, doesn't want a dog, doesn't want to get married. But at least you've always been really open about it.
yeah,
you know?
yeah, I'm upfront to like anyone that I date, whatever. So I'm like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
I was like that for a long time.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people in my family know that.
Mm.
And so they're like waiting for me to like make a decision. And it's hard too because I think there's layers to it. If you're Asian, there's like that layer where they like want
Yeah.
you to get married.
Ma'am, I'm Latino.
yeah, even worse.
I'm going to be 32 and I haven't got anybody pregnant yet.
yeah,
Don't tell me about expectations.
they're expecting babies out of this guy.
Well, I guess I can even go further is like the immigrant.
Yep.
Right? Because
Mm-hmm.
we have culture, like traditions, cultural traditions that they want us to uphold, but it's outdated. You know, it's not for like the modern world, but they want you to do it. I mean, they probably ask you every time they see you, when you get married, where's some kids? I want some
Mm-hmm.
grandkids. And it's a lot of pressure, right? Because you want to always feel like you're making your own decisions and not making for other people. And then as a woman, it's even more challenging because they're like, okay, you're the one who has to make the choice of having a child.
Yeah.
And picking your partner, a good partner who can support you
Yeah.
when you do it, because being a single mom is hard.
Definitely, being a single parent in general, I'm sure is very difficult.
Shout out to all the single moms out there.
Yeah, single pops too. But yeah, that's crazy because you know, and how you said that you used to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean you kind of changed your mind?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so what's your viewpoint on it now?
I think that it is a really big commitment, and finding someone who fits your lifestyle, because it's a long-term thing. Like you have to imagine, which is why it's so challenging, like 20, 30, 40 years down the line, like what is it going to be like?
Yeah.
And you look into, I find it's like, I don't want to be judgmental, but I also consider like
Be
how they
judgy.
are with their family, right? Like that's going to be your future family.
Yeah.
And I think that is also what's really attractive to me is the idea of having a family.
So you have a big family, you want to keep it big, keep it growing.
Relatively.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not gonna be the same. Like
Yeah.
my grandparents, like on both sides had like 5, 6 children. that's not gonna happen now.
Oh yeah. There's no way, yeah.
My body can.
Yeah. Like my grandpa from my dad's side, he had 2 wives and they had like 8 kids each.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
It was crazy. I was like, what the hell? I didn't
So,
even know.
so being a player is in your family. Or...
No. It ended when I was born. It stopped right there.
My grandma had like 12, 14 kids.
Jesus Christ.
Mhm.
Your grandparents are busy.
They had like 14, and then on my dad's side, it was like 4 or 5.
What's your perfect number?
I always want to say 1,
Oh.
No,
but then
you can't do the single.
right?
You can't do
Because
the
I
only
have a
child.
brother
They grow
and
up
like a
weird.
sister, and like they grow up weird.
They grow up weird.
It's I think
only
that you learn a
childs?
lot, as having a sibling.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about. But honestly, as a woman, like I have this conversation regularly.
Mm-hmm.
It's really scary to have children.
Yeah.
Yeah, things happen down there that
Yeah.
you never want happening to your body.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I really do wish that one day that you guys can have the kids instead of us.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the show.
Yeah, that would
Or
be
my
crazy.
next lifetime, I'll be a seahorse.
And I mean, now there's like what do you call it? Male birth control, right?
Yeah,
Like, that's like a
lots
new
of-
thing.
yep.
So
Can someone explain to me what happens? Because I'm like behind on that. Like, how does that work?
I don't
I am
know.
the wrong person to ask about that.
No one
Yeah,
knows.
I'm sterile, so I can't.
Did you say you're sterile?
Yeah,
Are you actually?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Just because
How are you
you
pretty
haven't
sure?
gotten somebody pregnant, it doesn't mean you're sterile.
I'm pretty sure it's a numbers game, and I've failed those numbers many times before.
No, getting pregnant is really hard. Even people who actively try.
Nah,
like, it's hard
dude, it
for
can't be
Yes.
that hard.
No, it is. It
them.
can
No, it
be.
really
yeah.
is. Even if you've
Like
done
thousands of times.
dude,
hard?
sir, this is a family podcast.
It's definitely not a family podcast. Let's be real.
No, even if you've done it 1,000 of times, like
Really?
I'm
Well, 'cause
assuming
also because like when the female is fertile, there's a window.
there is a window.
Yeah, and it's when people are trying, it's like just like a 1 day window,
Yep.
like when they're ovulating,
Mhm.
because it's when the egg drops,
Hmm.
and then after that, then the lining starts. That's where the period comes from.
Okay.
So that the egg comes out from there.
Yeah.
And then they gotta
Your
like
body.
kind of like shake it around so like it like gets it. No, I'm just-
All right,
Linda's like, oh
Mario
my
doesn't
God.
get to talk about the female body anymore, right?
No, it actually is really hard, even if you've done it 1,000. I'm assuming that your partners are on birth control. Are you not being reckless?
No.
So you're
no.
just straight out being reckless.
No.
You're pulling out.
I've done both, like partner with no birth control and partners with birth control.
But you're pulling out.
Sometimes
So you're being reckless.
I am being reckless. Sometimes I am. I mean, it's not reckless when you're sterile.
I mean, is it proven?
He's gonna be.
though?
I mean,
one
I
year
don't know
from
how
now, he's
much
gonna be
better
a
to
dad.
prove it than that. It's like flipping a coin and it only goes heads for 1,000
those-
times. You'd probably believe that
You know
there's
those
no
moments
tails.
when you're like, and what's the worst that could happen a year from now? Baby daddy.
Nah, that ain't happen. There's
Famous
no
last
way.
words.
Oh yeah, famous last words.
Never
yeah,
say
it's never
never.
gonna happen. Never be me. No, yeah, no, I think, yeah, I don't have to worry about that. I think I'm good.
You heard it here first.
Yep, you're first.
So earlier we were talking about flirting and the types of flirting, and like I wanted to ask, you know, we have for guys, it's like, okay, you have a guy like your man's like, yo, tell me about that dog, and we have guys like Adrian and be like, oh, good lordy,
Lordy.
good
Lordy.
lordy, woman. For you as a woman, like, how do you flirt?
I think it depends on the person that you're talking to.
Okay.
But I'm genuinely curious and probably tease you a little bit, kind of, kind of get reactions out of you. And I am very attentive to you. So I want to learn everything about you and the good and the bad. You know what I mean? Especially like how angry you get. So am I really flirting or am I really just getting to know you?
Yeah.
Just like observing you.
So are you one of those like roast you a little bit, like the like flirt to roast ratio? Got to like push your buttons a
Yes.
little bit to see like,
Yeah.
okay.
And I want to see like where we're similar and like what you like and your music taste.
No,
Oh,
music taste is very important.
Yeah, I didn't take that into consideration. There was times where I dated a lot of people who listen to house music. Like, no offense to people who like house music, but that's not my number one choice.
yeah.
And then when I tell
Jerry.
people, they're like, "Oh, I can't believe it because I'm such a hip hop person," and they're
Yeah.
like, "Why would you ever think of dating somebody who likes hip hop?" And I'm like, "I don't know,
Yeah.
but now I do, so it's okay."
Dude, yeah,
It's a huge difference.
It is.
Yeah.
As someone who like, the only time I listen to like house or EDM and stuff is, well, when I've done drugs. But that's literally the only time. You know? So do you know when someone is flirting with you? Like, let's say like this your man, right? Like you knew he was flirting with you from the beginning, or something you had to catch on.
No, I didn't know.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I don't want to assume anyone talking to me or is like trying to make advances because, like, I think people should be allowed to be friendly without it being taken as flirting. It's like we're not trying to like sleep with each other here. You know what I mean? And so assuming that
Peter and I had a conversation about this.
oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a very long conversation. He still thinks the way he does.
What's your take on it?
I think that anybody who is trying to talk to you who does not have already like a significant other, like if it's two single people talking,
Yeah.
yes, of course, there's the possibility of trying to be friendly, but 9 times out of 10, no. 9 times out of 10, there is an intention behind what they are doing, you know? Even if it's something as subtle and nice as like, you know, commenting on like some of your stories, doing something here. If you both know that you're single, or if one of them knows like, oh, this person is single, like there is that intention in the back of their mind. That is my own personal, that's what I've seen. That's what I've examined, like from like my friends' relationships, people who get together, you know. And it's like, I'm not saying that they can be friends, like, you know, sometimes it happens, but I think mostly 9 times out of 10, there is that intention there.
I assume you think the opposite.
Yeah,
or
I
you
think
do
the
agree?
opposite.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm more like, yeah, you can be platonic 100%. And I feel like that's maybe because in my experiences, it's always been like that most of the time. Platonic. What? Why are you laughing? What?
Most of the time, he doesn't realize, though, that girls are, like, interested in him. He's like, what? You know? And then he finds out, oh, and I've told you. and then it happens, and I'm like, I told you.
Okay, but there's the opposite side
The
too where it
opposite side,
doesn't happen, you know? So I think it's like, it is like 50-50
That
sometimes.
you know of.
That I know of, I guess.
Yeah. I never want to assume. I don't want to assume
Yeah,
other people's
I
intentions.
assume all the time.
and-
I'm exactly like that.
He never assumes. I'm like, I assume 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm exactly like that. I don't assume at all, like maybe a little bit too much where it seems like I'm oblivious to things, you know? People are like, dude, you're so fucking stupid. Like, she was totally making advances on you. I'm like, how do you know? She's like, she took all her clothes off in front of you. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess maybe.
But wouldn't that mean that you're not interested though? Or would
no,
your perspective change if they were interested in you?
I don't know if it changes. I think I don't know. It's weird. I'm like a person who like sends back the same energy that I get. You know what I mean? So like if they're not interested in me, I'll almost never be interested in them right off the bat. So if they are interested in me, there's a chance I could be interested back. But like if there's nothing there, I don't even it doesn't even like it's not on my radar at all. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
it absolutely makes sense.
Yeah.
Totally. I'm just
How do
laughing
you-
about what he said earlier.
How do you know they're not interested?
I mean, then, then it's maybe not meant to be.
I'm okay with it because I'm not like I don't know, like it's weird. Like I'm not a dating type of guy. Like when I'm in a relationship, I am in it for a very long time. You know, my relationships are like year and a half, 10, 4, you know? So like everything's been very, very long for me. So I have a lot of experience in that. And I don't have so much experience in like talking to different people and reading their body languages and just assuming that they like me or, interested. I don't know. It's just a weird thing because like I think I told Mario I have a huge disconnect when it comes to women and the idea that like women can be like sexual beings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm more like, no, they would never want to do that. What do you mean choke you? What that doesn't there's no she must mean that she needs to Heimlich maneuver or something. You know what I mean? Like she's choking. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I still have that disconnect. You know, I like there's definitely times where like I miss cues because I'm like, no, they must be kidding. Or like, it must mean something else. Yeah. But when I'm in a relationship and I really understand the person, then I know the comfort zones for those things. But outside, like strangers or people I don't know really well, I don't like to assume. And I'd rather be oblivious, I guess. Yeah. It's just a thing I've always like learned like when I was younger to kind of just like not assume those things. And it's kind of like led me to a lot of trouble at times because like it happens when I'm like in a relationship too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't know. Like,
So
Yeah.
like people get too close to you for their comfort?
Yeah.
You know, not for my comfort. My
Like,
comfort
yeah,
is
for
fine.
your
For my
partner's
significant
comfort.
other,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
they're
yeah.
like that age, like that's she's obviously hitting on you. I'm like, really? She didn't really do anything. She like bought me a drink, something like that.
All she did was put her hand on my lap.
Yeah. Okay, I would never let it get that far. But yeah, I think it does get me in trouble at times, and I feel like I'd rather get in trouble for that than like just automatically assume and cut things off like prematurely. But that's not for everyone. And I feel like that's why, like, I know in the past my significant others had been anxious whenever like I go out, because it's not like they don't trust me, they don't trust the other person,
Right.
and they think that they might be taking advantage.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hard too because that's something you cannot control.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, they do have to trust you that
Yeah.
you wouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
It's the only way it really works.
Yeah. And that's why I'm single. Yeah, it's just one of those things. I feel like I'm getting better at it. I try to be more like open to the idea that women could be pursuing me. Like, it's not like I don't understand the concepts, because like it's funny because when I see it with my friends, I notice it right away. I'm like, hey, that, you know, she's definitely hanging on.
I mean,
You know?
it's just not like an idea you have to break that you've like, you know, grown up with.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, well, what do you think? Because like for me, I'm on the opposite end of that. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
sometimes like women are bigger dogs than guys. Like I've seen some women be very like proactive about pursuing someone, or be like very sexual beings, be like
Yeah.
embrace like this kind of like, I feel like we live in this new world, this whole new generation that like technology has opened up. So, you know, like we said earlier, like business has changed, relationships have changed, but like the idea and the way women kind of identify themselves has changed too. Where it's like before it was this very constrained traditional view, and now it's like, no, fuck that, I can do whatever I want, you know,
Yeah.
like in a good, healthy way too. Like, so I
Yeah,
personally
yeah.
see that, but
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think there's like an empowerment to it,
Yep.
to be able to pursue the person that you like as a female and like ask them out. And people now do these like double proposal things I saw on
What?
Instagram. It was really
What?
cute. It was like they went to Disneyland and they both had rings, like the male
Oh.
and female, because they were ready to propose to each other at
is
Disneyland.
it on accident?
Yeah, it was by accident that they
Oh, wow.
were both
Oh,
planning
wow.
to propose to each other, and they both had rings.
Insane. Yeah.
So that was
That's
something
crazy.
new that I've never seen before, right? Really modern.
Yeah.
Because they wanted, like, the female wanted to propose to the man also.
Yeah.
So there's like that, and you know, with technology, you have the world at your palm, like in your palm, right?
Yeah.
So it's like there could be trust issues with that too.
Oh,
But
yeah.
at the end of the day, you have to trust the person that you're with. And I know I've met people who have this idea that even though someone is in a relationship, it doesn't matter to them. Like they can be a little relentless. So like,
Oh,
yeah. yeah, male and
That's a-
female,
that's a
which
no-no.
is
Yeah.
right? Because like I think loyalty is really important,
Yeah.
and if anything, I think that's like one of the most attractive traits is loyalty, right? To your friends, to your family, to like your partner, and I think in the modern world, like you're saying, it tests you a lot more than it used to. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. True.
So you're looking for like a dog, like a very loyal.
Super loyal guy, like a dog.
Why does you guys always compare it to a dog?
Dogs are loyal. They cuddle with you. They give you attention.
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love.
So do
Yeah.
you guys provide that or no? Like,
Are you saying, are we dogs?
well, if you want to compare it to being a dog, so do you find those traits attractive or no?
Oh yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like that's a very universal one. Like, obviously, you need loyalty and trust in
Mhm.
anything. That is the backbone of any significant relationship. Even in like something that you're just starting to like, there's different layers to loyalty too. You know, but I don't know. It's I would say it's hard and it's not hard to find that. It depends on who you interact with in like your world. Because like, dude, we're all kind of all connected, and it is
Yeah.
hard because like I'm sure like you as like a woman, sometimes dudes be like in your DMs or like hitting you up and stuff, you know. And it's like obviously you know like you have a partner and you're not gonna like do anything, but your partner like might feel some type of way or like why are these dudes sending her dick pics or like what?
Okay, I mean that is super obvious.
But you know what I
But
mean? Like,
yeah, yeah.
because it doesn't have to be obvious. Like again, there's a scale. It's like laud or like cute dog. You know, like it doesn't always have to be like, you know, I'm interested in you. It could be like, oh, you know, tell me about your podcast. Like, tell me about this. You know, but that is a way to get in. That is like a subtle way to like try and like flirt or like test the waters.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, I guess it's like, for me personally, this is my advice, is just like try to take everything from a positive light,
Yep.
right? Because you don't want to assume bad intentions, because I don't want that energy towards me. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's just treating everyone with respect. It doesn't matter who they are, like male or female.
Yeah.
You know, I think everybody needs that energy, and I think everyone gets so protective of all these like nuances, but we're supposed to be a community, right? It takes a village, and when we start like cutting things off just because they're male, or the opposite gender, then you might be missing out on perspectives. Guys that listen, right? That's the point of it, right?
That's the point of it.
Is to have the mixed opinions
Yeah.
because it makes a difference.
Yeah.
No, I really like that because it's like Peter and I have our opinions and like we're dudes, but like we need that other side too. Where I'm like, oh, you think about it like this? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that definitely does open up a lot more doors, especially when we have guests like female guests to give a different perspective than what we're normally to. Like we already have different perspectives, I think, right? From what you just heard about flirting, not flirting, and here like you're telling us like a whole nother thing that we didn't really think about, like respect, positive light, like that should be, I feel like, common sense. But I feel like in the dating world, it gets to a point where people are so like cynical about it. You know what I mean? Like all guys are dogs, or females can't be trusted, stuff like that. And I feel like, yeah, if you just kind of took everything like positively and like hopefully that people are not trying to lie to you and try to sneak around and, make things that, hurt you, I feel like it would be better for the dating scene. But I think right now it's not that common because a lot of guys are dogs, and I feel like when people have a lot of options, like maybe now it's, I'm not gonna
Let's not get canceled on our first episode.
Yeah, I'm just saying there are good dogs and there are bad dogs, right? And then they're both dogs. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I think as far as like to anyone else who's like out there who might be cynical about dating, I think obviously maybe they're just dating the wrong people.
Yeah.
That kind of gets them like that, or they're just listening to the wrong people too, because some people haven't even dated these people. They just hear about it, and that just kind of puts them like in this like wrong negative mindset, So
And what they probably need is some guys that listen.
that's true. That's true.
All right, guys, this is lightning round where we ask quick fire questions to our guest. And if she doesn't answer right away, honestly, she has to take a shot.
Yeah, except we don't have alcohol today, so she's
she'll be
actually
drinking her coffee.
just coffee.
Good luck sleeping tonight.
She's not
I already
sleeping
drank
at
most
all.
of it.
Are you ready?
Yes.
All right.
Let's go, Linda.
1, 2, 3. First kiss.
I was 12, something like that.
What was his name?
Damon.
Most embarrassing moment.
I peed myself when I was in grade 1.
Body part you wouldn't mind losing.
Body part I wouldn't mind losing. What is it that thing that people take out starts with the A?
Appendix.
Yeah, that.
If you had a boat, what would you name it?
A boat?
Yeah.
Um,
Shot.
Try it.
I had something really lame like the booty boat.
That's good. That's good.
I like that. I'll go on
All
the
right. Your biggest fear.
Being a single mom.
Oh, that's scary.
Celebrity you would sleep with. No,
Brad Pitt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was a secret. That's a shot.
That's a shot. That's
Like,
definitely
what
a
do
shot.
I not tell people?
All right. What dog breed would you be?
A poodle.
Okay. Show us your most used emoji.
Most used emoji.
Most used emoji.
It's the eggplant.
It's gonna be the eggplant, bro.
It's a green heart.
Green heart. Oh, interesting. Why green heart?
That's her favorite color.
Green is my color scheme.
Oh, okay. Okay, makes sense. Makes
Yeah.
I'm just
sense.
wearing green
Okay,
right now.
I see it. Okay, so.
messages are green.
Oh yes, WhatsApp. You guys don't use this here that often.
Oh no, not really.
Yeah,
No.
we keep talking about it to everyone that we meet on this trip.
I have
I have
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
What's
You
your
use it
what's
regularly?
your
Yeah,
use-
exactly.
Use it.
What's your username on WhatsApp?
I don't have a username.
There's no username. It
No,
goes
It's
to
just
your
my
phone?
number.
Oh,
Yeah.
But these
okay.
like random like Chinese people like keep adding me and like trying
Oh,
to
yeah,
offer,
dude.
like date me, and I'm like,
And give you
"This is so
money?"
Weird, man. No, I these are my info. It's weird.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, go on.
Okay, what was your AOL screen name?
I didn't have AOL.
You don't have AOL?
No,
AIM?
I had MSN.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like you would
Yeah,
have
MSN.
both, though.
You did have AIM. Oh, I was
Yeah,
I'm sorry, we're
everyone
not
had
gonna be
AIM.
able to pay you, sir.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, AIM.
Yeah.
okay.
No, I didn't have that either. My first one was MSN.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so crazy. I didn't even have MSN, but
My
that's
first
the same.
email was SWT_AZN.
Was that? Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's pretty good. That still works. Not AOL, but I like it. All right, first car.
I've never owned a car.
What?
Yeah, I'm one of those few people that enjoy taking the TTC.
Oh,
That's our
wow.
transit in Toronto.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Never-
Like serial killer.
So
vibes
Toronto is
here.
like one of those. Yeah. So Toronto is one of those places where you don't have to drive to like live in.
If you live downtown, you don't have to.
Oh,
and I did
okay.
for like
Okay.
a few years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't have a car either.
I do know how to drive though, but I've never owned a car.
Oh, no wonder why Annie's driving out here.
I mean, I know how to drive.
I know, but it's just like she probably drives around.
She
right?
does a lot more, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Okay. What was your major in college?
Fashion arts.
Fashion arts. Nice. If you weren't a coach right now, what would you be doing instead?
A teacher.
A teacher.
Oh.
Wow. What kind of teacher?
A college teacher.
A college teacher.
Yeah.
Dang.
Community college or UC?
Community.
Yes, me too.
Really? Why is that?
I went to college myself,
Uh-huh.
where like a lot of people I knew went to university, and I just like the hands-on experience.
Oh.
It worked really well for me. There are times where I think university provides different things than colleges, but a lot of the people that taught me in my program were in the industry themselves.
Okay.
So whatever they told me was really relevant.
Got
It
it.
wasn't like in textbooks and stuff like that all the time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Once a cheater, always a cheater?
No.
No. Okay. Wow. Okay.
Oh.
Dang. Why do you say that?
Because if we follow that idea,
Mm-hmm.
it shows that we cannot forgive ourselves for any mistakes that we make. So if people are gonna, if I'm gonna judge people that harshly, I'm judging myself that harshly, and I think that's not fair,
Ah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the hindsight bias that we talked about.
Yeah, yeah. Hindsight bias. Hey, I liked it. That was a very good lightning round. Round of applause for Linda. Thank you for tuning in to guys that listen. Until next time, remember, live fast, eat ass.